So I have a question for you. Why do we worship? I have seen videos that talk about how people who believe that the Anunnaki created humans, that they instilled this um, proclivity to worship and serve when they made slaves out of us. That's what the saying goes, right? And I think that might have a level of truth to it. Let me put this up. Is that glitter in my hair? I think it is. I think there may be a level of truth to that. I don't know about the Anunnaki and the whole situation, but I believe that if there is a power that be that would want to control masses of people, it would instill the proclivity to have a need to worship from birth through your whole life to be able to control you. That definitely makes sense. Um, but I don't think anyone asked the question, why do humans worship? What do we why do we need to worship, and where did that come from? You know what I mean? Some of the earliest one of the earliest relics you find of like statues and things that are believed people to have worshiped, the image of the feminine, divine feminine, the Venus of Waldorf. I love that statue because it looks like my body. And it was actually one of the first things that made me feel confident in my body. As far as we know, it could have been a mockery. But it's believed to have been worshipped by, ancient peoples, um, like fertilizations. You know what I mean? Fertility and all that kind of stuff. And that people had these little figurines for either worship or like good luck charms and things like that. But it's interesting, the first thing that was worshipped was the human body, the human form in different forms. As I'm going through this phase of letting go old things, it's kind of piggybacking off of the last video. Um, I find myself asking this question, why do we worship? As human beings, I believe that we have been programmed to believe that to be human and to have weaknesses and to be not immortal and not super strong is to be weak. It would make sense if you want to control a nation of people to force them to believe that they are weak, inherently weak in mind, body, and spirit, to create rules for them that would make rules for them that are impossible to reach, impossible to become, so they'll always be chasing a carrot that they'll never ever reach. And it got me thinking about my own belief system. I've made a video about this a while back about self worship, exploring self worship, and I kind of, it's like I was doing it yet dabbling with it in my mind about what that looks like and what does that, I'm so sleepy right now. What does that look like and what does that mean? And I could see my mind trying to form things I know about worship, and it just was not working. It didn't make sense. Like, if I'm worshiping self, why do I need to go through this whole ritual process? What is the point of rituals in the first place? Generally, rituals are a reminder, is to remind us of something. Why do in church they have you eat the bread and the body of Christ, which I was saying, nobody won't be want to hear shit that sound way too true, you know to sacrifice bread and body, to drink blood. That's fucking witchcraft. I don't care how you spin it. The ritual of eating the bread, the body, and the blood of Christ is a blood and body sacrifice. It is a witchcraft ritual. Where do you think that came from? The Catholic Church is very witchy. Very, very. Which, funny enough, I was actually born into Catholicism. So I guess it would make sense. Although, side note, I did love the ritualisticness of the Catholic Church. You do the same thing every day in the same kind of way. I can still remember some of the prayers of Hail Mary and all that kind of stuff. All the whippings I got in church because I couldn't stay still. But anyways, I'm off topic. But anyways, I thought about this, process of worshiping, and as I'm thinking about it, it's coming to my mind of what it would look like, and it just didn't make sense. Like, why do I need to do that? And it really got me thinking, what is the point of worship now at this point in my life? What am I meant to worship? Why do I feel like I need to worship something? And now I'm at a point where it's like, I don't feel like I need to worship anything. The only person that I need to be thankful to is me and the people who contribute to my life, who choose to contribute to my life. There's no need to worship anything ever. The only reason why anybody would need to worship something is if they feel they are lower than low. They feel like they have no value. So you need something to add value unto you, in order to feel like your life has meaning. And if I, in my mind, recognize that I am the ultimate value, that there's nothing wrong with being human, that I'm not lesser because I'm human, that because I'm in this human way, that doesn't take away anything from my life. That doesn't take anything from my inherent value. What is there to worship? What need is there for worship? If I am to worship anything, it would be parts of myself. I still recognize the divine feminine. I still recognize the divine mother, Kali Ma, but I only recognize her as myself, a version of myself coming forth to remind me of the glory that I am. And as I go through time and my own history, and I think about the different things I've used to get to this point, God, spirits, witchcraft, belief in different deities, Kali Ma, I've noticed that once I've hit a certain point, they fell off. When I was Christian and I, read the Bible and I did all the things, at a certain point, it couldn't help me anymore because it's like this stuff, a lot of it isn't even relevant to me anymore. It's not relevant to anybody. It just doesn't make sense. It just didn't make sense anymore. And so I moved on to other things, started exploring other religions, moved on to witchcraft. And for a time that worked, even spirits, speaking with my spirits and guides and all that. And for a time they were very loud and they talked and then they went totally silent. It's like I guess I didn't need them anymore. With witchcraft and doing the rituals and things, I didn't need it anymore. It doesn't make sense. Why would I have to do this elaborate thing if the power is already in me and my request upon the universe or whatever this thing is I'm a part of? I don't need to do an elaborate ritual for that. It's just as simple as asking. So what am I doing this? I don't need to do that anymore. I still recognize the magic in me and the connectedness that I was born with, for sure, that would qualify me to be a witch in a way. I feel like some people have a natural proclivity for it, They have a natural openness. That's probably the best word. They have a natural openness for it. But I just feel like I didn't need that anymore. And then the mother is always with me. You know, she is with me and in me, but she kept on saying to me, I am you. There's no other you. There's no other me and anything. There's just you, and I am it. You are me. There's no separation. So I'm like, okay, so and this is kind of what I was talking about when I was saying losing the things that gave me stability in my life, the things that gave me a foundation on which to stand. All of that is falling through. It's like, what am I standing on anymore? And now I feel like I'm forced to stand on my own 2 feet in the foundation of myself and nothing else. And that's hard because I don't know what the fuck that is. I was never taught about the foundation of self. I was taught that I was not worthy. People shout in church, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of God's love. That doesn't even fucking make sense. Like it doesn't even make sense to what you define God to be, even in the Bible. One that loves, well, supposedly one that loves and cherishes you and is a part of you. Jesus said we're all the part of the whole. You know, it doesn't make sense. So I feel like the only need for worship, to worship anything, is for those who feel like they're nothing. They feel like they don't have value. So they need something higher than themselves to give them value. And now I'm at a point where that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for me, for anything, anyone really. And so now I'm at a place where I'm just like, what does it even mean to worship? If we just break down the gravity of what I'm trying to gain from worshiping anything. It's like, I know I don't need it, but what does it mean to me? I'm trying to pull an energy from something that I feel like I don't have. In this life that I'm living, there's a massive feeling of lack, a lack of connectedness that I don't have, that I'm trying to regain. And it made me think about the existential reason why everyone on earth is so utterly and totally miserable, is because we, in this human body, are totally disconnected from the thing that we are. The thing that's beyond this, beyond the universe, beyond anything that we could possibly know. We're disconnected from that and we are totally miserable. Like, I'm having to come to terms with that. That this continuous existential misery is from this lack of connectedness, and the act of worship is to get that connectedness back, but it never stays. It never comes and it never stays. It's like I'm chasing the carrot, you know what I'm saying? And so now I'm at a point where I'm exploring, what does it mean to be connected? What is it? How could I possibly feel whole again in this body? You know, you have a lot of different mystics that, you meditate, you do these things, da 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 da. It's temporary. Just like when a person goes to shout in church, it's temporary. They'll shout and then be ready to run over each other in the parking lot. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a lie. It's all lies. It's not true connection. And I feel like I'm in that crossroad of what is true connection? What does true connection feel like? Now, what does it look like? Because we're past that. What does it feel like inside of me? And thus far, what I think first is the truth. Saying this type of stuff, telling the truth, seeing things exactly for what they are, seeing myself as human, this thing that was never meant to be perfect. This idea of perfect is a lie. I mean, where did that come from? It's the carrot thing. Chasing after something you'll never achieve. Why would I do that? Why would I try to pretend to be um, virtuous when I'm not? Why would I try to be, you know, essentially not a human being that has feelings and thoughts and desires and needs and um, has a great heart, but also is capable of great evil? Having a connection with that, I think that's the first part of connection. When I think of, if I think of this essence of being, this thing beyond everything that we know, it's an unspeakable thing. It's nothing you can talk about or say. It's a energy and a feeling. That thing, for it to create all of this, for it to just exist, it has to be in full acceptance of everything that it is at all times, and accept, for it to be able to create a world like this where there's so much suffering, there's so much beauty as well, and there's so much polarizing energy. There has to be a level of full acceptance of this is all that I am in a thing, in a creation. And I don't even think this is all of what, this is just like maybe a spit. I mean, could be running billions of different types of simulations all at once, exploring, constantly exploring all that it is. Because why not? What else is there to do? I don't know. What do infinite, beyond anything that we could possibly fathom beings do with its time or think of? But there has to be a full acceptance of this is everything that I am. I am capable of amazing beauty and virtue and love, and I'm also capable of extreme atrocities and horror and destruction and sick sick minds that exist. I feel like we're a part of some sort of sick experiment, if I'm being honest. Um, but there has to be a level of acceptance. And that's fucking hard. Acceptance is hard. People act like it's easy. It's not. It's not easy. You know how I know? Because even some of the most celebrated people on earth, most celebrated mystics, people who've meditated for 2 weeks straight, and they hold satsangs or whatever they call, and they're all, even those people, especially the men, egos is off the fucking charts. Even looking at them, I can see the flaw in the logic of how they operate. Is to help people, but really is to exalt themselves. Let's just be honest. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's like you call a spade is what it is, you know? And again, people are so incredibly and hopelessly sad and feeling like nothing. They will sit for hours with a random person who sounds like they have some sort of connection that's slightly deeper than theirs, and they just want a little bit of it, because we all remember this connection deeply. We all remember what it felt like to be whole and fully in your power. We all remember that feeling, and it's gone, and we are desperate to get it back. No matter what the cost, no matter if it's at the cost of ourselves decaying or it's at the cost of another person's life. I feel like that's what everyone is after, and we all go for it in different ways. Whether it seems like, you have the most virtuous person helping everybody, doing everything, any and everything they can, giving the most of themselves, or you see a, totally disconnected psychopathic serial killer. You know what I mean? Who kills without mercy. And I get it. Look, to be totally honest, this is definitely controversial. I get why motherfuckers do that shit. I get it. Because when you're so sensitive, I think a lot of those people are extremely sensitive. They're so sensitive to the point where their mind completely shuts off feeling entirely because it's too painful to feel. And when it's too painful to feel, you have to cut it off or you'll die from the pain of that. In addition to the fact of feeling that desperate feeling of desperately needing to get back to that wholeness, to feel anything, it would be nothing to kill a mass of people. The sick fucks who take everything and, want to hoard everything. Why would you need everything on earth? Why would you need $100 billion? For what? You couldn't even spend it. You couldn't spend it in a lifetime. Why would you need that? Because that's a way of trying to get back to that empty feeling, to feel that emptiness of disconnection. I need more, 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 more because I'm so hopefully disconnected and it's not fucking working. No matter how much money I get, no matter how many people I conquer and destroy and kill, it's not enough. It's never fucking enough. I can go to church and praise God and read all the books, and I'm still fucking desperate, and it's still not enough. I can do all the rituals in the world and all the witchcraft and all the things and elaborate things, and you can look at people's lives and tell it's still not enough because they don't have enough. They don't have what they need. I'll see, these I'll see witches, I'll see these, mystics, these people that people flock to because they, like I was talking about, they seem to know what they're talking about. But when you look at their life, there's a total disconnection from what the fuck they're saying. Like myself, a lot of people go into witchcraft and mysticism and spirituality because they feel powerless. And it's a way to get back that power. And it's a beautiful way to get back that power. But there's still a disconnection from what they say and the power that they possess versus their life. And you can see it. It's so obvious. And there's so much misery there. Misery in Christianity, spirituality, all these other things. And I just refuse to be a part of any of it. Not because it's wrong. None of what I just said is wrong. It's just the truth. But it doesn't work for me. I'm really at the point asking myself, what do I think? What does Crystal think about all of this? What do I see when I look around in the world? What do I want from this life? Not just what I think I want, what I've been told to want. What do I actually want? What do I think? And I've been asking myself this question for years, and I've been reaching for the answer, and I can see the disconnection. I'll say I want one thing, and especially when I don't get it, I'm like, what is a disconnection? I see the disconnection. It's not really what I wanted in the first place. None of it was. So what do I want? Connection. At first I thought it was connection with things, with people, with myself, which I do, but a deeper connection beyond here. That's what I'm after. That's what everybody is after. The only question is, what is going to be my way of getting to it? There's no perfect or right answer to any of that. And that answer will change throughout my lifetime, however long I may live. It'll probably change in the next 5 minutes. And being okay with that level of incompleteness. But what can I get from this? And also a level of acceptance that I will probably never really be happy in this life. not in the way that my heart really wants to be happy. I think the best that I could hope for is full acceptance. Full acceptance of everything, all the shit that's hard. I think that's the only way to back to true connection. Full acceptance, fully aware that I will never know everything, not even myself. Full acceptance that this is what it is, and I have to find a way to still accept me and love me through it. And I'm trying my best. But it's hard, honey. It is hard. But anyway, I'm sleepy as shit. I should be asleep. Yes, it's the same night from the last video. But anyway, excuse me. I'm going to sleep. And I hope that was helpful. Gave you something to think about, made you think. All right, love you. Bye.